Ted Cruz made a mark in the debate by challenging the moderators, and yesterday in Iowa, he doubled down on that point, essentially saying that, independent journalists, objective journalists, shouldn't moderate debates. We should look for, like, say, Sean Hannity.
How about if we say from now on, if you have never voted in a Republican primary in your life, you don't get to moderate a Republican primary debate.
Next, it'll be, how about we don't let Democrats vote and then Republicans win? That's not how it works, Senator Cruz. I'm sorry. I understand your point, and I understand that that has appeal among Republicans. But to the Cruz strategy, Cruz comes out of this debate again. People saying a strong performance. Hitting the media certainly helps with the conservative base. But he continues to have a strategy that is dependent on Trump and Carson collapsing. And I'm sorry, there is no evidence as we speak this Sunday morning. Trump's down a little bit. Carson maybe down a little bit. But Carson's leading in Iowa. Trump's leading in New Hampshire and South Carolina, and I think beyond.
November 1st.
Yeah, and there's 90 days till people vote. Can you have a strategy? How long can you? I'm not going to attack these guys, and your survival is dependent on them collapsing.
There is, to some extent, a sort of game of not it happening in the Republican primary, where everybody has done that not it, and is expecting someone else to sort of do the dirty work of taking out the front runners, right? And I think it has become clear in the ensuing months, especially since Trump announced that these guys are not going to implode on their own. Now, it could still happen, and nobody also thinks that the polls you see now are predictive in any real sense of the way the primaries will turn out. The polls right now are meaningless except as an indicator of sort of base sentiment. But, there's a lot of things we don't know, basically. There's a lot of ground to cover until we get to voting. We don't know what's going to happen. I think the strategy of sort of making sure you have the money in the campaign to hang tight and you don't get one of these death spiral narratives started about you, as long as you can be in a holding pattern where you're getting a decent amount of the national vote, and you can stay on that first debate stage, that's not a bad strategy.
Some of the establishment figures, they see Trump coming down in Iowa, and some of them say this guy's not going to, he won't let himself lose, so he'll drop before Iowa. I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think so. But listen to Donald Trump, because, Robert, you wrote about this with one of your colleagues. Trump constantly, you have to give him credit, whether you like him or not, he recalibrates when he sees the moment. He was not very negative in the debate, did not go after his rivals, even though in the days beforehand on the trail, he had been especially critical of Ben Carson. And here, listen to him on the stump.
It's not about being a celebrity. I don't think it's about having a view that's captivating the people in this country because they're tired of being taken advantage of. They're tired of being stupid. They're tired of having their leaders be out-negotiated on every single deal.
For Trump, that's actually kind of soft-spoken and a little bit more, I'm going to use the word, humble, at least in his tone.
It is. And I've been covering Trump since January as he's moved toward a presidential campaign. And you really can see a transition in his temperament. You see him, as you said, recalibrating with the moment. But when you talk to Trump himself, he says he recognizes Carson's rising in Iowa. A lot of it's not because of his ideology, but because of how he comes across. Trump wants to come back in Iowa, and he believes he can be the nominee. He sees it on the horizon. The question is, how does he get there? And he's toning down his attacks on his rivals. Though, when it comes to someone like John Kasich, who took him on in the debate, Trump was ready with the Lehman Brothers line, and he's going after him on Twitter today.
But if Carson is winning Iowa a month from now on December 1st, can Trump help himself, though, in going after Carson? And that's what Cruz is
But it hasn't worked in the past. When he's gone after Carson, it's kind of fallen flat. He's tried, and it just hasn't.
He's not going after Carson.
No.
He's working with Carson on the debate.
So herein lies the issue. Carson's like Bambi in politics. You can't shoot Bambi. And nobody wants to shoot Bambi, okay? And so the fact is that Cruz doesn't want to go after Ben Carson because he wants Trump to. Right. But if Trump is reluctant to and nobody touches Carson, the assumption is that Carson falls on his own. Well, what if that doesn't happen?
Right. I think that's the assumption. A lot of people are just waiting for this, waiting for things.
Ted Cruz has to make a hard choice.
Right. Look at Trump in the polls in New Hampshire. I think if Carson wins Iowa, Trump, if he's still ahead in New Hampshire, that complicates it for the establishment lane.